And for one of the sounds for today, do y'all hear that? Do y'all hear that? And the color for today is purple because the stone for today is chirite. So throughout the show, I'll give a little um, meaning and uses of chirite. And those were the beats for today. Welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I'm your host, Eight Wind is Timeless. I'm also Starface, the Time Lord, Dad, friend, all those. It all starts with a gentle sadness. I am the holder of the continuous ball game that was created by the Hero Twins. And I'm also your galactic daddy-o sitting on my galactic patio from Minnesota going out to the universe. So welcome, one, and welcome all. Joyful Sunday. Sebastian, what's happening? Ryan, what is happening, Ryan? Unique Breed, what's happening? Kim, just Kim, that came. You've said it before. Key man count. Key man, yeah. 8 win. We want 8 win. Oh my goodness. I'm working with that beat. They hit me with a copyright strike, but I didn't really care. I mean, I'm not monetized, so what do I care? They said now this is the craziest thing. Check this out. This is how silly this stuff really is. Now, I'll tell you where they need me. There's some countries in this world that need me. And when I do these videos, these countries really love my stuff. Let me find them. And they're prohibiting these countries from rocking with me. I mean, people may understand and like me. Wrong phone. Okay. It's on one of these mugs, but it's funny. It's just funny. Right here. No. There are truly crowds of people who do scream for 8-Wind. But unfortunately, there's not a lot of publicity about this. But the countries that do, and is Cuba, Iran, North Korea, and Syria. They all have something against Bootsy. Or does Bootsy have something against them? So from now on, no more Bootsy to Syria. I did try to hide it with something. I was giving Syrians the Bootsy music. They want Bootsy. But guess not. So I will no longer be able to play We Want 8-Wind to Cuba, Iran, North Korea, and Syria. Unfortunately. So maybe some of you can help and maybe take one of my videos and Facebook one of these people from these countries and say, hey, we can still give you a little bit, maybe one video a week or something. Oh, and our commercial, we had to do it. Andox. Kloster Andox. Jaffa Verleib Salat. 1400. In 55 is when they built their beer barrels. Double Bach Dunkel. Don't you just love the word Dunkel? That's just like, hey, what's happening? I'm just Dunkel today, baby. Just like Dunkel. And your friends will look at you and like really don't understand that it's just like a name of a chocolate beer. But it sounds so cool. Your friends, before you know it, are all saying the same thing. How you doing? Dunkel. That's how it spreads. People call me. It's like, how are you doing? Dunkel. They all copy me. And I think it is a German word, not positive. So as I say, pop them if you got them. Smoke them if you want them. As the Funk Brother says, salute to the booty. And just as you know, I truly got the idea of the Chocolate Mountain from George Clinton. I think the song is Swing Me Down, Sweet Chariot, and Let Me Ride. And you can watch them sing that live. And it goes back to show you, the music you love at 14, 15 is the music that you're going to love most of your life. You'll always love that music. Which, if you were born in these days, I feel sorry for you, because I don't think a lot of these songs are going to last 40, 50 years. It's hard to say, but it just doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like it just lasts that long. It's like it'll last a couple months and then you forget about it. You're like, oh yeah, I like that back in the summer. I like that back in the winter. That was the song of the winter. Last Christmas, that was the jam. But is any of it lasting? Is any of it like, hey, Crazy Sarge, thank you for joining me. Have you seen the video on Harry Tubman being a fictional character? Well, I mean, when Tasha was on my other show, we talked about that. Dane, I mean, that was a while ago that Dane brought that up. Dane brought up, it's just, we know the book is fictional. The book that's written about that is a fictional book, and he does throw the gay stuff in that book. Remember that, but that's a fictional book. And Dane points that out beautifully. Dane was even saying Frederick Douglass, because a lot of that, like, what you have to understand is Black history was manufactured in the 1800s. This is when the idea of these folks came from Africa, and say all of them come from Africa. Over in England, they came up with this plan. I mean, what was Marcus Garvey? And as I said before, the Tubmans, really, if you look where the Tubmans name, the Tubmans is related to Liberia. I mean, her being fiction or not, them Tubmans is related to the people with the shipping, taking people off the farms and taking them to Liberia. The Tubmans are related to that name. That name. Now, her, that is that's probably fiction about her too. But the name is related. And one of the early presidents, if not the first over there, American brought over people, was a Tubman. So yeah, Dane is like especially the stories are just so over the top and they don't make sense. I mean, it's woods like a motherfucker. You got a person that's born in Virginia that is that would have ties to the tribes, because most of the original black tribes come all up and down the coast. Virginia specifically, but all up and down the coast was melanated tribes. Not like the people that later was found in out west. It was a different type of people going all the way up, and across. I mean, it was just these kind of people. But you would know more than them. Like they wanted to put dogs on you and stuff. I think they had been here long enough where they knew how to do tricks to all that stuff. And the woods would be so massive that the story may never make sense. He's able to do all this. And then, the stories go both ways. Denmark Vesey, it was like somebody told like both of them before they supposedly could get a real momentum. And one of the brothers had said this with the movie, it wasn't a victory, because yes, they had a minor skirmish and won, but you didn't win the war. You won one of the battles. That's what it came down to. You won one of the battles. So yeah, you can see, but I was getting back to Denmark Vesey. It's the same kind of thing. When it would have been successful, storms like a weather warfare, weather magic, they get stormed out. I mean, their plan made more sense because they wasn't just trying to murk people. They was actually going to take over. Like they had it on the whole sides. They had people. The plan made more sense. That could be made up, but the thing that does too is it makes you think it was like after they did all that, wasn't no rebellions. That's another part of it. They want you to think there wasn't no rebellions after that. They passed all these laws and was stricter. And a lot of what you hear is Reconstruction. That is what they pretty much teach. They teach Reconstruction history as all that slave narrative. That's where the lies is, that Reconstruction history. So you can do your own research. But yeah, Dane, I mean, this is the thing. Dane is a good researcher. Now, I've told the story before. I used to be on one of his groups that he set up in Facebook. And, I was hearing a lot of not cool business-like things. But again, it didn't affect me. And I remember I commented about that. And neither one of them was that happy. And Dane once said he was going to meet me at the Mississippi sometime to see this mound. Matter of fact. So I really, that was just my cautiousness. Because it was too many people that was like, said they felt taxed. So, but that's not the point. The point is, you got to pay for the information or don't, you look at the price, and if the price ain't really for you, you back up. That's all. You say, well, when I can have it like that, but it doesn't mean all the stuff he says. So, and the game is no longer, trying to prove, disprove. That ain't the game, really. It's not really to disprove one or another. If you support somebody, and this is not blind following. It's like what I say with flat plane. If you talk to people about flat plane, you really have to kind of put yourself in that kind of plane, so you two can really understand each other. That makes more sense. I mean, even if you wanted to argue the thing, that would be the best way to argue it from, because you could be in it looking at what you would think the flaws in it. What you think shows this reality would be illusional, I guess is how I'm trying to put it. It's like I was saying, put the matrix camera, that football camera to go in the middle of the field that can, got that lens that can flip around. Make that you. I mean, you can deal with a lot of things like that. Even when people come at you with ideas, flip that camera around and really see it from both sides. You might you might have to put it from all four sides. Remember Riddick, that dude could be he could like leave and move over here, but that little streak, well, you could be like that little streak where, a little ghost in here, ghost in there, ghost in there, really see it from all of the possible angles. Angels. Music from 2010 to 17 will last. Oh yeah, of course, it's not gonna go away. Hey, Antoine. Yeah, it's not gonna go away. Music will last. So that's why I don't try to be, who's right, who's wrong. It's trying to understand from their perspective and say, okay, let's move from this perspective and look at it. And you don't have to really critique it. You can just say what you don't disagree with. That's all. And like but experiencing it from that, say, okay, this would be the flaw of that. This is what you're leaving out. This is what you're leaving out. That kind of thing. If you can't be on all the same level as a person you are talking with, then there is no point in wasting their time. That's pretty much, because you're not going to really to experience their experience. You're not really experiencing it the way they're experiencing it. That's what's left out. Yeah, it's funny that this is the thing. It's like the first time you get here, and I wish Jonathan. I'd like to hear what Jonathan says. I can't think of. I have to look Jonathan's channel up. But what would he feel about this? Because he's the main person that follows the shootings of the rappers the most and the most efficiently, or most of the information. But first time ever hearing about this guy is that somebody attempted to or did. It's just like, what would make you want to be in that profession? I mean, really, if I was like a young man and I'm looking at all these people that this happened to, and then the two pillars are Biggie and Tupac, and this is what happened to them, and then they get knocked off, it makes you, for me, it would be like, yeah, no, thank you for that. I would rap, but call myself a jazz rapper or some shit, a hip hop jazz poet, something like that. Yeah, hip hop jazz poet. I would take the rap name off. That's what I would call it, hip hop jazz poet. Because if they call you a rapper, you're pretty much marked for death. Because I mean, maybe somebody can tell me this. Because wasn't Tupac and Biggie both rappers? Weren't they both rappers? Not really hip hop artists, even though Biggie was from New York, where a lot of hip hop was invented. So isn't that what it would be? They were still rappers, and so that's the precedent that they set for rappers. Sheesh. Be like, sitting around the table with your children, be like, you'd be like, hey, Johnny, what do you think about that rapping? And Johnny be like, yeah, no, Dad, it's too dangerous to be a rapper. Just doesn't seem like it's a future in it. I mean, it's okay to have people saying, hey, baby, all in the club, for a couple months, and then the money dries up, the hits dries up, and you back at it, and you change your life and do something else, and boom, you see that guy. That guy says, hey, it's going to be your time soon, young man. Which way do you want to do it? And you'll be like, you can't deny, because you signed the thing to say, hey, baby was going to be everywhere. Remember this? They play it back, and they'll give you the replay. They'll let you feel that for a couple minutes. You be sitting there, and they put you back in the club. Everybody's saying, hey, baby. You're like, yes. And then they bring you right back and like, it's time to collect for that. But that was nothing. You're telling me 30 days of Hey Baby is enough to sell my soul. 30 days of Hey Baby, 60 days is enough to sell your soul. Is it? What do you think? Is that worth it? Because sometimes that's all people get. I mean, what did we just see with the brother from the Humpty Hump brother? Do What You Like was a good hit. All around the world was okay. And the one with Tupac, good song, good producer. But I'm just saying, in a movie, remember they were in a movie. Don't forget, they were in a movie. Nothing But Trouble. Isn't that what his movie was called? The Dan Aykroyd movie? No, it was called something else. We said it the other day on here. Very funny movie. And that has to be the conversations young people have to ask or have to think. It's like even a 15-year-old boy that's just, that is around imbecile psychopaths and is groomed to be an imbecile psychopath. Do you know the 15 years comes so fast? And you might start being groomed to be an imbecile psychopath? I mean, groomed to be this. And then one day you're slipping, and before you know it, you know how that puff that's snuffed out? No, the soul never dies. But again, where would you think this kind of soul would go? Whatever came, he would walk right in it. Didn't have time to develop any spirituality. So where would he go? Whatever presented itself. And just think if this thing likes that, just recycling these young minds. Let them do each other. Let them kill each other. And it would be easier to do that, to recycle them like that. There's no way in those first years these cats have built up enough. Valerie says you need to sit down, keep getting embarrassed. Oh, so Valerie know more about him than I do. Yeah, they've been doing that. Tech for your needs. You get where I'm coming from. That's thank you. Tech for your needs. You guys got to subscribe to him too. He's a content creator. Please do. Are willing to sell out just for number one hit. And no, some of them don't even get a number one hit. You make the top 100. You make the top 100 because some of them you read their stuff. Back in the day, he scored number 67. And then they're like, he had his best year. He scored it. His song went to 35. I mean, they look at the Wikipedia kind of shit when they tell you about folks. They get kind of cold. They tell you what it is. For just one number, yeah, but even less, Valley. Also consider most of the youth don't consider it a foresee a future. Yeah, it's a bleakness, and the bleakness is exposed to them too. I mean, that's another way of being handled and exposed to bleakness. Because again, if we're looking at the generation, we're looking at the children, the children's children of the crack era. So these children were hardly raised in large numbers in these cities, definitely by not men, but even moms, be just strung out. They had children. So really, not to say they couldn't turn into good parents, but we're seeing a younger generation that seems like more unsupervised than ever. And you can't help but come to the conclusion that these people aren't really being raised hardly at all. Again, they're being taught these other things. So Do you look at the NBA Hall of Fame? No, Antoine, I didn't watch that. That didn't interest me. Hey, Sean, things were different when I was growing up, not the same as today world. I'm a 70s kid. Okay. Yeah, I grew up in the 60s and the 70s. I graduated in 79. So in 69, when 69, 70 came, I was going now. Like the daughter, my daughter's age. Like my daughter out 10 years, 50 years ago. or no, 40 years ago, I was in her grade. So my daughter and I are 50 years apart. But the same transition where I do remember the 60s. And then I remember the way things kind of just changed even a little bit. And it's funny, my son always thought that history was the black and white. Like he said, when he saw black and white pictures, he thought that's how everything was everything was in black and white. I'm like, no, the Mountain Dew bottles, I'm sure, were green back then. Raised by social media. Well, more the importance social media becoming the electronic god, the techno god. Social media becoming the techno god. Like I told a story before where a dude killed a toddler that did something to his Jordans. He killed this child. Child did something to him because him out in public struggling so much, the Jordans was the only thing that made him feel good. So this child destroying the shoes, being a child, this guy didn't know how to handle it. He went crazy. I mean, literally went crazy. But that's sad that was his worth. Like I told a story here, Hampton Institute jersey. Is it Hampton State? Hampton? I thought it was just Hampton Institute. Not one of the most popular jerseys at the time, fairly stylish, but not a popular jersey. Exclusive, I would say. When a young man was wearing one here, and the dude killed him, took the jersey, and wore the jersey to a party that night. When I first moved here, like in 06, 07, maybe the summer 07, this happened. And the guy testified that they was like, well, what did you plan to do with the jerseys? Like, I was going to wear it to a party that night. And he did. He wore it to the party before they caught him. But now my point is, it ain't even that. It's just this. This is the new, not even how you look. I mean, how you look for a few minutes on this. Like that's why I showed a video of that cricket video where the mom is just in front of the camera. She ain't even parenting. Now again, it's a commercial, but I'm just saying that premise is something that's out there. You see these adults in these like these people getting rich on YouTube, these little family shows. These adults is getting just as much camera time as the children. And it is the children that kind of pushing them over in some cases. And some of the shit's weird as fuck. Some of them people was doing the little scary dolls, kidnapping shit. I'm like, I mean, really got kidnappings, hexes, blackmailings, stalkings. And this is supposed to be kid stuff, children stuff, excuse me. Yeah. Do you think if LeBron doesn't take it, the Lakers will lose? That's funny. That's funny. That is so funny. I don't know. I mean, like I'm friends with this old actress called Virginia Madison, and she's a little older than me. I'm pretty sure this chick is in her 60s, and she looks good for her age. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she's slightly younger, but not too much younger. But they showed her, taking the plunge. So I thought that was interesting. She's taking the plunge on Facebook. So when you see that kind of thing, it's propaganda. When they got the thing over to Facebook people and it's saying I took the plunge, that's propaganda. And that's Facebook agreeing with propaganda. That's them agreeing to push propaganda. Because remember, Obama overturned the law that said you couldn't teach propaganda to the people. There used to be a law against the government putting propaganda out. But that's a page from the National Socialist though, propaganda. The news media. That's a page that they took like with TV. That is why they've had their hand in the TV from the very beginning. FBI, CIA affiliated. There's no way they would let that go without it being. I mean, there used to be a TV show called the FBI and had FBI dudes doing the show. They wanted to be called G-Man. So they had a nickname. All the criminals had nicknames. So J. Edgar Hoover wanted them to have a nickname. So he made up some shit. Call us G-Men. We got a nickname. We sound as cool as the gangsters. Hey, PJ, good to hear from you. Public transportation, the guy stepped on the other guy's sneaker by mistake. The guy got out of the bus and he killed him. Yeah, that's not uncommon. Yeah. I mean, Spike Lee's movie, was it Do the Right Thing? Yeah, Do the Right Thing. They have that same scenario. I mean, they kind of punk out. They don't beat him down. And dude, remember he scuffed brand new shoes up. And then the dude went up in his brownstone, like, fuck you. Now, really, that would have been an ass whooping in real life. You just bogarted, don't say excuse me or nothing, and you scuff my new shit. What young person back in those days would have just took that? You'd have beat that dude's ass. And if them was his people, they would have beat his ass too. Well, do you see what Spike Lee did? And his people telling the truth. He just fucked up your $120 shoes. Didn't say, can I get them shined or cleaned? He just bogarted up in here. Remember the Malcolm X movie? Like, dude, sorry, don't shine my shoes. Remember he said that? Sorry, don't shine my shoes. Appreciate that, Antonio. Mo. Lorenzo, what's happening? Actually can change the public in terms of him back from slogan. What do you think athletes like LeBron actually care about the public in terms of him? Oh, he took that. That was a boule move. LeBron looked out for the boule. That's a boule move. That's why that was in the gyms last, during the bubble. It was a boule move by LeBron. LeBron is clearly, he got the boule thing on his back. So that was a boule move. And really had nothing to do with, we ain't black. Why do we have to live to their construct? That's a social construct. That's a social prison. It's a construct, though. So it's not a real thing. So that's where that come from. You can see where that move come from. That's a boule move. Clearly boule. The world is getting crazier. Yeah, Ziggy. Funny thing about that movie and scene, they retroed those same cement Air Jordan 4s with the same exact scuff mark and sold them. There you go. And that's humility. That's agreeing with the humility. I didn't know that. PJ, thank you so much. Wow, that's deep. I never heard that. Yeah, sorry, don't cut it out no more. Cut it up no more. Yep, sorry, don't cut it up no more. There you go. Yeah, that was so much of a joke that Nelly and Clara made a record. It's called Step on My J's. There you go, Lorenzo. Oh, there we go. But I'm saying that was just a reality of that's why the lines, I'll say towards the 13s, the Concords came out, we started seeing lines, but it wasn't, it was just people standing in the store before it opened. I remember a couple times it was just people standing in the store in the mall, because the mall always had walkers, so you could just stand in the store. But I don't ever remember seeing the around the block stuff in Battle Creek or Kalamazoo. And I had friends that worked in Champs, Foot Locker, all that stuff. So I was talking to the salesman. I would get him the money when the shoes was like first stocked. All they care about is the money. So a couple times, and I told the story too, where everybody was standing. I had already had the Jordans, a different color. I think what is the Carolina Blue 12s maybe? And I had the Carolina Blue socks. Carolina Blue Concords, maybe that's what they called, where they had the light blue bottoms, but the patent leather whites, because I bought all my boys those. But I had those, and then the Bulls colors came out, because that Carolina Blue one came out first. Then they came out with the Bulls one. I already had the shoe in the Carolina, so I didn't really need another shoe. But I stood in line, and it was just too many people, and it wasn't really that many people. It was like I could have got a pair, because I didn't see anybody else in line that wanted 13, 14s. So I was wear both. But I remember I was like, I was standing there, I was like, fuck this shoe. And I went and saw the Rodmans. The Rodmans had the side tie. And came here, was hooping in them. And then my boy Big Suge that played with the Vikings, his cousin played semi-pro hooping around here. And a lot of the fellas, they was like, oh, we saw those. And they went, I saw them at Bally's the next day, they had bought them. And I had a picture of all of us wearing them side tie Jordan or Rodmans, excuse me, the side tie Rodmans. So the point of it is, it's like you should be able to flow with it. And by me just flowing with it, and was like, these is more different. Because then I come to Minneapolis and I'm playing, and everybody got them, but nobody's got these side tied Rodmans. So I was like, okay. So learned a little lesson. Didn't have to be like everyone else to stand out. And not to say I got the shoes to stand out, but it was like I was kind of got to stand out. The only company that I saw block a line is Apple's. Oh, and people slept outside for days. No, I'll tell you where that I saw. Well, my story, I was thinking about this last night. I saw Elvis, I want to say 74, 75 or something like that. I forget. I'd have to get the dates when he died. But I had a friend whose dad spent the night out to Wing Stadium. He spent the night out there and waited to get tickets to see Elvis. And his wife didn't want to go with him, so we went with him. But up here, Best Buy, Walmart, they was starting to camp out. It was like they was putting tents. They was putting tents up, Black Friday. They was putting tents up. People was staying in these tents. So, but yeah, people used to the phones they made it seem like the phones was the thing. And motherfuckers stand in line. I never did that kind of stupid shit for a freaking phone. I'll say this about this one. These are harder to operate. They're harder to navigate. This one it's having a few issues, but not great issues. And I thought about it. I know Ciova has the flip, like the Android, the Galaxy, the flip phone that makes into the big screen. I bet this one, I bet this one weighs about the same. I bet it weighs about the same than those. Maybe that one weighs a little bit, but this metal pieces that are around here. And then like with the new one, they spraying it purple. Like if you just got this a few months ago or however, that because they made a purple one, now you got to go get the purple one. Isn't that the same shit like we talking about the tennis shoes? Well, I've got to have that purple one. And as we know, most people, you don't know what color their phones are because they're cased up unless they got a clear case. Most people don't. He died in 77. Yeah, so it was 74, 75. I'm trying to think. We were going in 5th grade. So maybe 75. Let me see, 76. No, it had to be earlier than that. Had to be earlier, like 73, 74. I should look up the date too. I bet I can find the date. I'm gonna look up that date too when he performed there. Yeah, and we saw him. I loved, I loved like I would spend the night with my grandparents and they'd let me stay up as late as I wanted. And sometimes they would play either cowboy movies or they play Elvis. And then when I lived in North Carolina, if he's watching tonight, when I lived in North Carolina, they played Elvis movies during, like, if it wasn't football and basketball season and they had just open air, it was Elvis movies. And when I was in college, not having cable, not like college children today, young people, young men and women, they have cable in their dorms. I had no such thing. We had free black and white TV that I bought. Some people had color, but most had black and white. This is black college, only 5,000 students at the time. Now it has almost 20,000 students. That's some shit. Grown that much. One day I'm probably going to be old man walking around lost down there, like nothing looks the same. Take me to the stadium. This looks a little bit like. I took the plunge yesterday and got a Sam's Club membership. Not too sure about it yet with all the going to panic shopping. Okay. Let us know how you feel. And it's an individual decision. That's the way. I'll tell you what though, people up here ain't wearing masks in any places. They sure aren't. Went in the liquor store, was proud not to wear the mask. I'm like, hey. Now the grocery stores, I haven't been to Walmart in a minute, but Target, they still making you wear them. Yeah, I didn't go anywhere. Yeah, no, I did have to go in Barley and Lunds. So Barley and Lunds making people wear that shit. So, but the liquor store right next door didn't, because I had to get my numbers in. The dream might hit. And I'll say this. I'm going to tell you how generous I am. Everybody watching tonight, if I hit the numbers tonight, I am going to do like Don King did his Soul Train dancers. I'm going to buy everybody a box of Kentucky Fried Chicken, a 2-piece. So write that down. Keep me on that word. That's what Don Cornelius did. He didn't pay the people to dance. He gave them chicken, which you listen to some of the Soul Train dancers, and that was okay with them. They were like, leaving out the door, and their mom or relatives say, do you want to eat? No, we're going to get some chicken there. Okay. But I guess apparently it was what did they say? What restaurant? Perkins. I think they said it was a Perkins across the street, and most of them went over there and ate between shows. Oh, and did you know that before the dancers got on the Soul Train line, they put on a special outfit? Did you guys know that? Because I did see some people dancing and wearing the same thing that they were dancing with, but it was times where I saw them dancing, and when they went down the line, they were wearing something new. So people ask me, what would I like to do when I go back in time? Well, I would obviously want to catch the touchdown I dropped. Yeah, I'd rather do that than dance down the Soul Train line. You guys were fooled by then. You thought I was going to say the Soul Train line. Definitely not. Catching the touchdown and drop would have been much nicer. But I still could appreciate the Soul Train line. You remember Perkins? They closed the Perkins here. Yeah, I know 2 of them that's closed. I think they closed them all up here. They did not make the when they shut down everything. They didn't make it. They did not make it. And they were steady down here. But then again, the Applebee's didn't make it. They put the Applebee's down in Burnsville, which is about 5 miles away, 6 miles maybe. But yeah. But yeah, the Perkins was the coffee and the cakes and the cookies. Breakfast. Well, I will say this. Kobe's mama is older than me. And I'm older than Jordan by 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. I'm 2 years, almost 3 years older than him. Because I want to say Larry might be 2 years younger than me. Larry's a year or 2, but I want to say Larry might even be 2. So for Michael to be Kobe's daddy, I mean, I don't know. He would have been had it pretty young hitting it. Now, Zion and LeBron, still, he ain't. I mean, what is LeBron, 35, 36, and Zion's 20? But again, we think Nate Thurman got LeBron's mother pregnant, or used his skeet at least. I'm pretty sure it was like that because she was only like 16, 17, which would have coincided right with Nate Thurman was there. You know, they had Nate like, Nate, we need you. You know, we want to make this child. And we think with this woman that we can make this super hooping basketball child. But we think that you are the right genetics, and we think she is to have this super child. And that's what we'll do. And they went to her parents, was like, look, we'll give you so much money, but we need to. And maybe she was wild. You never know. Maybe she was wild, and they ain't had to say to parents. They were just like, hey, we'll give you this money if you do this. But she must have spent it because had LeBron tell it they was moving all the time and wasn't living too great. So whatever kind of deal she took, it seemed like it didn't. I don't know. It didn't kick in until he got in high school. So it's like, look, this is the deal. You know, you're probably just going to be hoeing for the next 10 years and working and struggling. But when he hits about 14, it all changed, baby. It all changed. But for the like 12 years, you know, the government's going to have their foot up your ass and you're going to be struggling. But when he hits 13, 14, you're going to start seeing a little better. By the time he's in 9th grade, you're going to be getting it. You know, they like to say gravy. You'll be in the gravy. So she was like, woo, when he got in high school, she's like, oh, I know it's about to get easy now. It's been easy ever since for her. Because remember, she bought him a Hummer in high school. He got in trouble because some dudes gave him a jersey. He was given 2 jerseys, a Gale Sayers jersey and some other jersey. $200 at the most. Remember what the Ohio State players was doing? They was selling their jerseys and selling the little gold pants. When they beat Michigan, they get a little pair of gold pants for a necklace. They was selling that shit and selling their jerseys to have a little extra money. So I don't know. That's possible. So I don't know if they old enough. I mean, if you really look at it, like Kobe's parents, trying to think, like Kobe's dad hooped, and you know they lived all around the world. So how close, you know, did he really get with his dad? You know, it's hard to say. And you know, the Marvin Gaye like thing, you know, you surpassed, you know, the dads get surpassed by the son. Some cases the dads get resentful. One time everything was about them and this child was helping your hustle, and all of a sudden the child was able to break free on his own and don't help your hustle anymore. Remember in Ali, what Ali's daddy said? Those pictures of white Jesus put steak and potatoes on your table. When you was a little boy. But you see and so I sense some of that through them. I mean, it's some petty stuff between them all. I mean, so wherever there's smoke, there's fire sometimes. So some things with them, they didn't see my eye. Yeah, LeBron had a Hummer when he was in high school. One of his birthdays, it might have been his senior year. But one of them ugly little, you know, the Hummer they put on a truck body, that Hummer with the real little where you can hardly see out. But it's really a truck, and they just put that body out on it. Now they're bringing the Hummer back supposedly as an electric truck. We'll see how that goes. They were saying, the caddies at one day is going to be electric. Well, guys, let me tell you, I don't know if Nick Taylor ever hears this. He'll appreciate this. Check this out. Again, this is the who they fucking with in Prior Lake. They're not really fucking with anybody, but they are having John Fardy. He performs on July 4th. Now, I can't, I don't know how many, there's tickets start at $50. So just to let you know, if you want to make reservations to see John Haggerty on the 4th of July at Mystic Lake. They're going to be rocking out. I don't know one of his songs. Wait. He's also, wait. He is a Grammy winner, so he won a Grammy, Hall of Fame, and songwriter in both. He's the only musician to be inducted to the Baseball Hall of Fame after his song Center Field, a staple in baseball stadiums across the country. That still doesn't ring a bell. I couldn't tell you any song called Center Field. He has many hit songs as a solo artist. As a leader of CCR include Proud Mary. I do know that song. I know Susie Q. Yeah, I love you, Susie Q. I do know that song. Fortunate Son, don't know that song. Burn the Buyout, do not know that. Bad Moon Raising. Have you ever seen the rain? I don't think that's the one by Have You Seen the Rain? Is that the same thing? I don't think so. So just wanted to put that out there. We're having a big music fest, which might take my mono out and do live from the music fest. The first night is just barbecue. It's a Friday night. It's going to be more of a blues rock kind of thing. And then Saturday is going to be country. I'm still debating on the country day, but tickets are here. Let's see who's going to be there. Oh, here we go. Now, my son heard this guy. I've never heard of him. Grammy Award-winning country singer Brad Paisley. Oh, he was here in 2017. I don't imagine he's coming back. Who's going to be here? Here we go. Lakefront Music Festival scheduled for Friday, July 9th and 10th. Will feature the same artists as planned for last year's canceled one. Mega million selling rock band Styx. Ain't them dudes older than me, though? Ain't them dudes from the 80s? Okay. Styx is going to headline with Cheap Trick and 38 Special. Okay, that sounds decent. Taking the stage. And then the next day, multi-platinum country singer Lady A, never heard of her, or no. Jake Owens and Noah Guthrie are also performing on Saturday. Saturday might be a no. They caught me out wilding, you know. They caught me out wilding. And, you know, sometimes I wild. And they caught me. And one thing about doing magic, you're not supposed to be caught doing magic. You know, you're supposed to do it, you know, and not attract a lot of attention. But, you know, I just got it on one night and I just unleashed all my abilities. And this is kind of what happened. Colorful fireball in the night sky dazzles the Twin City residents. I didn't mean to dazzle anybody, but, you know, I was just on my thing that night. So they got a dazzle from my fun. I think that's a pretty good deal. They got a dazzle from my fun. And I talked about this the other day. I couldn't remember this little area. And actually, it's a property there that I'm interested. But Credit River is the little town near me. It used to just be, that's what they called the area, but it is now Credit River elects their first mayor and their first city council. So in their township, they created their own township. Rights to some of the city water and sewer of all that, if they're not on wells, which I'm guessing they probably are. So after a lengthy incorporation process, so they had to get incorporated, Credit River held their first their elections. Municipal. I'm tripping. Municipal elections. Sounds like a mandate has been lifted, and Walmart is lifting the mandate Tuesday because they can all go off the honor system since they can't ask you medical information. That's a good point. What happened to Susie Q? Amy Jo Johnson, she played the Pink Power Ranger. No more neck gaiter sweating into a store. There you go. Got to give and take. So Credit River was what I was trying to tell you. So you get incorporated, you can start your own little city. But yeah, guys, you can't create fireballs. You're not supposed to attract attention when you're having fun. Minnesota largest candy store opens for the season, and this isn't far from me at all, but they have every kind of candy you can think of. It is called, the store features a variety of vintage candy, including cowtails and bit of honey, to name a few. I did like bit of honey. Minnesota's, there's always something new to find, and I think that's the name of the place, Minnesota largest candy store, located off of Highway 169 in Jordan. Yeah, it's not too far. Not too far from me. Contrary to what you might think, candy isn't necessarily the main attraction at the store, which also features theme rooms as Gotham and, oh, I almost misread this to say underwear theme room. I was about to say that's very odd. Underwear theme room. No, it says underwater theme room and a new Harry Potter Hogwarts theme room. I don't know why they mention these. I imagine to have child parties in them, I'm guessing. We're always working on something new. Some of the sculptures in the store. How long did I go? Oh, shit, not bad. Not bad. Okay. What does it say? Some of the sculptures in the store were imported from Germany. Okay. Wagner says team's trying to emphasize support for local business. But they got some candy for your ass. It's a diabetic's nightmare. But they got some candy for your ass. Oh my goodness. These political cartoons. And you know, they got to get the local. And they opened up a damn arcade. Take a trip into the 1980s at Zap Arcade. Yeah, that's not going to last very long. Then we're going to have a new VA. Anybody looking for a cat? Jubilee is available. About $160. Jubilee's 8 years old. Probably would eat your children if you put him in your house. I wouldn't recommend it. And what have we learned during all this? This shit's funny to me. This shit is funny to me. So that's who they're fucking with in Prior Lake this week, yo. They're going to start partying like it's 1999 again. You guys see Saturday Night Live? They had the young lady on there, and she sings the song that makes you want to cry. I've heard it on the popular radio stations here, and it's the saddest, most depressing song ever. She appeared to be a young, I don't know. I couldn't really tell. Her lashes weren't done well. Whoever did the shadowing and looked at the camera on her face, her lashes looked almost like she, of course, has to be in style with the long lashes. And whoever did them, it was like a hump, kind of. It was really strange. At least the effect with the eyes. It was like it had the long, it was like almost, they gave her long lashes on the bottom, too. That's the way the shadowing looked. So somebody didn't do a good job with that. But, you know, it's a super sad song. You'd have to look it up. Caden Peele was on there, and he wasn't really on there to do anything really funny. They're memorable. I would have thought they would have had him when Colin Jost and them was out there and bring him on. They didn't. They brought some of the newer people. So there was nothing he did that was memorable. I would have did a video with him. You know, they do videos about they tried to make a joke about I want to see the bottom of your face, and they kind of spun it around, and someone finally saw the bottom of someone's face, and they didn't think they looked very handsome. I saw some Hell's Angels. When I was doing my food run the other day, I saw a couple it said Minnesota Hell's Angels. And there was one dude that must be like wanting to be a Hell's Angel. He had a jacket on. It just said Motorcycle Club. I think that he was Like the Mayans, the guy before he made it, he's a government snitch going in, but he's now into the Mayans clubs. And he had to be an intern or apprentice or wannabe. And now season 3, he's now a Mayan, even though he's a government agent, which shows you they're all probably government agents. But I did see some Hell's Angels, which was interesting. But one thing I saw, when I was waiting to get the tags for my license plate, I saw something very gross. It was first a couple parents, and then I think the father left, and it was just a lady. The baby was far too big to have a pacifier in her mouth, but she had the yeast from the pacifier. Like she had the scars of the yeast. And I'm looking at this chick, and she's dressed pretty decent. And I'm looking at this baby that's walking around probably damn near 2 with a pacifier in her mouth. But the pacifier gave her that yeast shit. Horse in mouth or cow in mouth, whatever they call that shit. But she had it. And I'm looking at this chick like, you don't know that's what that is? And you still giving it to her? Plus it fucks up your teeth when children have teeth and they're that little. And like me, my ex, I told her, I said, when my son turned 1, he ain't getting these bottles. He's going to cry. I said, I don't care. He is not getting these bottles, and he ain't getting these pacifiers. And it's funny. When we moved years later, she found the bottles. She's like, oh, you just hid them. You didn't throw them away. She's like, I didn't look for them because I knew you threw them away. I told her I didn't throw them away. I told her that, though. But yeah, I'm like, pacifiers, you got to tell your people, those are only for the first week. Anything beyond the first month, no, stop giving it to them. That's the first month or so. But after that, quit giving them to children. But parents want peace of mind. You can know it's wrong, but you want peace of mind. I miss the arcade days. Party like it's 99 because the next fearmonger plan is another Y2K. There you go. Yeah, definitely fuck Spike Lee. He's been sold out. Have you ever heard Michael Jackson's 2-piece Bubbles? Man, I was watching something where they were showing all the people that Bubbles bit. He bit the shit out of people. Michael was constantly paying off people. Bubbles done went off on them and shit. It was like one woman, shit, it was her monkey, and the monkey like damn near ripped her face off. One of the people that got like new face light, the monkey kind of ripped her face off. He ripped her up so much, and it was her monkey. She had raised it and shit. She was letting the monkey hit the blunt and shit. And I guess I heard that somebody had put some what did they call that shit? Angel dust. They put some angel dust in the blunt, and the monkey went crazy and ripped her face off. That shows you, don't give monkeys angel dust in the blunt. Maybe just the weed next time. Angel dust blew his mind, went crazy on the master. I don't know. I like think about, the monkey's only like, what is that, about 3 feet high? And he's sitting next to me hitting the blunt, we just cool. And if like the monkey had that look like he was about to go crazy, and the monkey just charged me, this is exactly how the scene would be. So I'm sitting there, and I'm hearing the monkey, so I'm paying attention, but I'm not looking at him. And the monkey would charge me, and I would just reach out and start choking the shit out of the monkey. I would catch him like right on his little neck, and I like just would be choking the shit out of his little ass. I'm like, I was like, you thought you was gonna attack me, little motherfucker? You you really thought I was slipping like that? Yeah, this is what you get, motherfucker. He'd be like, but I'd be choking the shit out that little monkey. Throw him off the couch. Just throw him off the couch. Like, motherfucker, you think about going off on me again. Remember that ass whooping right there. And this piece of Shadow, what's happening? That parents desire, really just superficial concept that symbolizes that their false sense of reality is correct. There you go, Shadow. That's why I did it. It's not a smart idea to have a monkey when it's a child that is strong as fuck. But that's what I would have done to the monkey. I would have fucked that monkey up with no thoughts. But yes, Shadow, very well said. It is. and you see parents doing it. I saw a mother today that I was like, I like good parenting. The dad was letting it, they had like maybe a two going on three. Again, girls, tiny girls tend to be little. She was probably two, probably going on three, but riding a little bike with wheels. And then they had one about one that was doing a little on steel, like little big wheels, the basic same thing, but it was all steel. And the mom was letting, the little girl was screaming and was like, she was just letting her do it though. I was like, and then it's a little, not really a hill, but just more than what she could do. So the mom pushed it up the hill, and I was like, good job, good job. That's right, good job. Do your best. Teach them. Oh, here's one for everybody. I tell you one thing I can't do. The shit gets me sick as fuck, and I cannot swing in a swing. I tried this a couple years ago, and I thought I was going to throw up. It was the most unnatural feeling in the world. Just to go back and forth and swing, I was dizzy on the third or fourth time. And I've refused to get on the swing since then. So I don't know what happened to me. I used to get joy. I've told the story about my friend was able to make the damn thing swing all the way around a big iron setup like that. We all were trying, but he was the only one successful. He made the damn thing swing all the way around. So I used to love the swing. I used to love to get it to, I would get my swing high as the bar of the support. I mean, that's how he was thinking about going over. But we would get the swing high as the support, and then we would jump off. I mean, that's how much of a daredevil I used to be. We would make that swing get way up there, and then we would just jump. But yes, I sat on that damn thing for a few minutes, and that shit was like I was on a boat for a month. Jay's ass when he jumped on his back. Jay, that's why he stopped going over to Michael's house. Jay throws ass when he jumped on his back. Master Jay threw his ass when he jumped on his back. That's why they start. Oh, that. I would like to see that. Might have to make that reenactment where I can find the monkey, use a little kid, child, and throw child and shit. That's funny as hell. It kind of reminds me of like what my younger son did to his older brother. His older brother came up behind him and just grabbed him playing, and my son like, whoop, threw him in the door. I would like to see that. He's like, damn, Michael don't treat me like that. When I jump on Michael's back, he doesn't treat me like that. In a New York accent, get the fuck out of here, monkey. The New York accent, get the fuck off me, monkey. Grab his dick, motherfucking Bubbles. Motherfucking Bubbles. Get the fuck off me. A seesaw make you vomit. Probably so. Oh man, Bubbles was wildly out. Yeah. I would have body slammed. Bubbles was probably shook up for a minute. It probably took Bubbles a while to come back from that. Oh, I have fun. That's a good belly laugh. That's what you call a good belly laugh. But yeah, I would have had no problem with Bubbles. I've been choking the shit out of him. It's like my son. I taught my son how to right punch when he was first born, and he tried to right punch everybody his first year of life. And so, of course, we just put him on this left side, and he hadn't figured it out how to left punch. So he wasn't able to, really back punch. He had one move. It was front, forward, left hook, or right hook. And so we put him over here, and he didn't know what to do. He's trying to figure it out, but it's hitting himself. He's on the right, so he's swinging, popping himself. So after a while, he quits. So he just sits there. So we kind of outsmarted him, but everybody else, his grandmother, sock right in the face. His great-grandmother, sock right in the face. So they learned. And then if we was busy and moving, they get to squirming, and we would just keep putting our hand up, outsmarting him. But he learned. And if you didn't learn, yes, you got socked in the face. That's just kind of how he was taught. Bubble said, this is my house. That is some funny shit, though. Oh, I'm gonna put some of the hats on and some of the leather coats, and we're gonna redo that. I'm gonna find the bubbles I can rent, and I'll be like, well, I'm gonna throw him into the into the closet. I'm like, what do you need the monkey for? Well, I want the monkey to jump on your back. Yes, they can do that. But this is where it gets a little interesting. I'm going to then take him and propel him into my closet. And I think being a monkey, he can take that. And, if I give him enough money, they might go for it. Yes, he can take that. He'll just be a little pissed, but he'll take that and he won't jump on your back again after that. That's the plan. What did Bubbles think when he was in the air? Can you imagine? I mean, what was this thinking in the air? He's like, God damn, I am like flying through the air. Then he hits the closet and shit. Bubbles like, God damn, Michael never did that. Michael never treated me like that. God damn. Even Tito don't treat me like that. Tito don't like me. He's never thrown me in the closet. Oh. And then he goes on a Hot 95 in New York and tells the story. Yeah, I threw that motherfucking Bubbles in the closet. To Angie Martinez and shit. Word, you threw him in the closet? Yeah, I threw that motherfucker in the closet. Word, you threw him in the closet? Oh, I'm sorry. I got the sillies tonight. Oh, that kills me. Oh, that kills me. That's just having fun. Oh, that's just having fun. Spit everywhere. Eyes all puffy from laughing. But I have a good time. That's all it is. We have a good time. Discuss practical things and impractical, but have fun. And that's the thing of being human. That's I think sometimes people forget to, when they come on here, show your humanism. Show that you're human, not just a bot spotting out whatever. Show that there's a human side of you. And that this is what humans do. Humans laugh, humans cry. Humans are silly, humans are serious. Laughter keeps more love in your heart, though. Laughter don't take away from you. When you want to be loving above, laughter doesn't take away from that love meter. Might go up a little more with the laughter. Kind of stuffy tonight. I don't even notice me sniffing all day, and I know I must. Oh, yeah, because half my medicine. This is the stupidest shit. It's like half my medicine that they got to get it proven from the goddamn doctor. It's like, why? This is allergy shit. Why would you need approval for a goddamn allergy medicine? It is not a narcotic. It's some simple shit that's just a little better than you get over the counter. So I'm not under. So that is why I'm sniffing and snorting tonight. I had to get some of that spray. It's like the liquid cocaine stuff. I wish I'd have known that kind of thing would have helped me years ago, because North Carolina was hard on the allergies. And that is one thing about being older that I do, like the sneezing attacks. I see as I get older, that's going to be a little harder. Ribs sore as shit, and just sneezing attacks. So, local honey. Okay, Crazy Sarge. I don't have any local honey, but I could get some. Definitely get some. I will try that. I have some stuff up. I have some other stuff too. But it's like I'll take 2 of them. And so it takes 2. It definitely takes 2. And like I said, it's not that I don't believe in all plunges, but I think in this case, it's like the, what do they call the shot? What I was saying they was given in Walmart by one of the greeters. One day I see a greeter. The next day the greeter is giving the annual medicine they call like full shot, plunge, giving the full one. Remember that one? Yeah, it was a greeter giving those. She was asleep at the table and I walked by. She was like, everybody was. Then I woke her up. She's like, hey, do you want this for free? No, thank you. You can keep it. Okay. She went back to sleep. No one seemed to bother. Other than when I went back again, she had got a victim. So that is where we see a lot of today. I will try that though. It's been one of the medicines they used to make crystal meth. It might be one of the medicines they used to make crystal meth with. Maybe. I don't think so though. Maybe because that has Sudafed. I think, isn't that what the crystal meth stuff is? I remember I talked to a dude. A dude said a 40 box of pills he said he could make about $400 off a box of pills. He could cook up that much meth, about 400 worth. I have no idea. The only time I've ever seen meth is the movie Black Rain, when they had that ice looking stuff. Maybe some imitation cocaine, crystal meth, like that kind of nasty shit. Yeah. But yeah, I've never seen crystal meth. I've never seen that. I couldn't tell you what it looked like. Which I think is a good thing. That I had no interest in that kind of thing. I like coffee, but they say it's a better coffee feeling. Coffee makes me want to take a nap. Can't say I get fatigued, but coffee gets me so relaxed, in such a relaxed state. Like I'll drink coffee and meditate. That is how well that coffee, how much it relaxes me. Shake and bake meth as hell. What did he say? What was that movie? He called it Jumbo. I got that Jumbo shrimp crack or some Jumbo poppin'. What was his name? The movie was named after him. It's a dope movie named after him. Fresh. Remember he said I got that bomb poppin' jumbo crack. He's like, I got the bomb poppin' jumbo crack. What is that? Or like as DMX's ex said, not crack. Imagine having that conversation. Well, baby, I'm glad you love everything about me, but there's a secret about me that you don't know. And you managed to say, I do crack. And then her reply was not crack. It's like the movie. It's like the movie Must Love Dogs, if anybody that saw that movie. So the guy is sitting with his woman, and I've told this story. I don't think I've told it on this channel. I know I told it on another channel. But the guy is sitting with his woman, and they're like, let's tell the secrets, the best telling secrets that you've ever heard. Your top secret. And so he told her that he was involved in a cookie party. Now, I only know what a cookie party is because my 8th grade teacher explained it. And if you don't know what it is, I will explain it. It is where males put some type of cookie. I don't know, a cookie big is what they needed, but some type of cookie, and they all start to masturbate. And the last person to masturbate has to eat the cookie. And this is the story that he tells her. Well, the beginning of the movie, they don't show it, but the beginning of the movie, they show a close-up scene of the main character in the movie and the dog. They kept going from dog, her, dog, her, dog, her. I didn't understand what was happening then. But then she tells her boyfriend. Now, she doesn't know because they're in the garage kind of making out, maybe smoking a joint. And they have a little loft where they go have sleep outs when the garage is not too hot and in the loft of the garage. Common. I've been to places like that. And so she goes to tell him that one night in her apartment, she didn't know what was going on, and she just started sucking the dog's dick. So not only did she tell this to the boyfriend, but her brother heard it. And the brother had a little envious about her anyway because she was so perfect. And so it shot really well because it's like she tells this to the boyfriend, they're engaged to get married. And he doesn't know what to say. Now, she didn't look at him that way when he just said he ate a cookie full of cum. She didn't look at him any kind of way. She was like, okay, that's a secret. Wow. So when she told him that, he didn't know what to say. It was the best acting I've ever watched because the look on his face was like, you really shouldn't have told me that. Like, I thought maybe you said you shit on the side of the house or something, but you really went there. And then this is the good part. The son goes downstairs and tells the parents because the parents think that they have the most loving daughter and perfect daughter in the world. And the parents, he's like, no, this bitch ain't perfect. She goes around sucking dog dicks. And the mother is like so infuriated, she slips and falls and she kills herself. Not really kills herself, but she slips and falls, and the slip and fall made her kill herself. Killed her. So the moral of this story is, if you suck a dog dick, don't tell anybody. You kind of want to hold that in because you never know. I mean, in this movie, the mother slips somewhere. She slips and hits her head and kills her, dies from it just because the excitement of being told that her daughter did this deed. Limp Biscuit. Oh, but my 8th grade teacher told me this story. Do you know what would happen if an 8th grade teacher told you that story now? This is the same 8th grade teacher that told me that Hitler liked shitting on people or people shitting on him. I don't really remember. But Hitler, something about shitting Hitler, he liked one of the other. Either he liked being shit on or he liked shitting on people. I'm not sure. I don't quite remember, but he told us those two stories. I'm pretty sure if you told that story, though, in either one of those stories nowadays, you'd probably get fired. But again, I don't think anyone told their teachers like, Mom, Mr. Hanson, and I think that was his name. Mr. Hanson told us about some cookie party. You ever heard anything about that, Mom? Or Dad, do you know anything about a cookie party, Dad? Dad be like, no, I ain't never heard of that shit. Apparently nobody did that. I never brought it up to my parents, and maybe anybody in the class never brought it up to theirs. Maybe it just like, okay. But it was pretty wild to me, and I never forgot it. I was like, that is pretty wild. I would have never participated in that. Should I be nice or mean? My neighbor asked me if I still have a concrete mixer. I said yes. Then I asked him if they wanted to plant some plants, and they said they thirsty. They said I am thirsty, and got a soda and never helped. Never came back out. I heard that game was called Limp Biscuit. Oh, I never heard that. That's funny though. A cookie party. I saw the meth bottle. This chick was cooking and blow up in her face. I was hanging out the socket. Damn. I missed. Wow. This chick was cooking and blow up in her face. Wow. But yeah, PJ, that's that crazy shit. That's funny though. They didn't help, so let them have it. Let me give the divination. So we should be at day 9. Okay. Yes, no, day 8. So 13 platoons, 0 platoons, 8 tunes. We should be at 9 Uno, and we're at 8 Kin. And 8 Kin would be Lamont. Yep. And this is the Mayan fractal. And Lamont, Lamont is star harmony, the octave, intuitive realization of pattern of higher life, love, star seed. And if you'd like to manifest, you can manifest into the south to get a little push. And again, you see the continuous ball court. In this card, we see the rabbit and the serpent having a match on the sacred ball court. where Uma was played. The rabbit represents the body and the power of senses, and the serpent represents the mind and capacity for reflection. The court is the human body, where the game represents the challenges of life. The card represents tension between enjoying life by following your instincts and senses and material pleasure versus looking for the development of awareness. If the rabbit wins and the serpent loses, we will lose, because the dominance of the senses result in the sacrifices of the awareness. On the other hand, if the serpent wins and the rabbit loses, we will fail as well, because our quest for higher awareness will kill our joy for life. This card tells us that we need to take care of the balances between those two aspects of our existence, joy and awareness. The rabbit teaches that if you forget the joy of pleasures of life, you will be wasting something precious. Enjoyment of one's life is life that you have in eternity. But if you surrender to the quest for pleasure and forget the development of awareness, you will lose your soul, which is precious as well. The key to success is, of course, due with balancing and honoring both sides. How often in my life do I experience joy and pleasure? In what ways am I getting pleasure, and how do they affect my entire being? Am I working too much and forgetting to enjoy the simple pleasures of life? Do I plan quality time for myself? Or do I plan for myself to have quality joy time? That's an interesting one. Do I plan to have quality joy time? Do you plan for that? Am I lost in the careless quest for pleasure without seeing the bigger picture of life? Again, the balance. Do I laugh enough? When was the last time I laughed with my entire heart? You just saw me. Do I take myself too seriously? Not at all. Am I over dramatizing situations in my life? I don't think so. How many friends do I have? How many acquaintances? Could I turn some of my acquaintances into friends? Excuse me. That is from me to you. So I hope that gives somebody a little push. I was trying to see how old this beer is, because it has to be stamped on here somewhere. You know that a clear bottle, it would kill the beer. The age of the life of the beer. That's why you have the dark bottles. Precious oils are the same way. This is odd. You don't see it stamped anywhere. Generally, it has to be the age life of the beer has to be somewhere on here. Don't see it. Not on the cap either. Because I bought some beer the other day. It was 6 months old. This beer was supposed to be pulled off the shelves. It was still on there. It's like, damn, they give you anything. Hey, Anise, thank you for joining. Thank you for the kind words and but thank you. Can't think of the other word. Thank you. The horse race today. Didn't anybody see the horse race? I tell you, there's nothing more where they talk about pretty much nothing for 5 or 6 hours than a horse race. NBC soaks it all. And yeah, it was actually a pretty good race. Just as in the Kentucky race, he didn't try to lead the whole race. He took that last almost middle, but that last quarter, he definitely pushed it. This time, he could have held him back just a little bit. I think if he would have held him back just a little, again, he put pressure on everybody else, but the guy who won, he saw that his horse had a little bit left. And I think because, again, the horse that got caught for doping really just has some kind of skin thing. So really wasn't, it was a steroid for a skin disease, so they say, but we'll see. But they didn't take his championship away. but he got third. He showed today, and he was favored to win. And this other horse that didn't race is favored to win the Belmont, the longest of all of them. But beautiful horses, and it was nice the way the guy who won it, because he saw that the other two horses were shot, because the horse that ended up getting second place, he traded the lead with the one that had won the Kentucky Derby. And you saw that he didn't really have anything left. I think he should have held the horse back just a little bit. In the story, I could tell it was a horse called Big Brown that should have won the Triple Crown. And it was like, I was like a nose from winning 20 grand. That was a big heartbreaker. If that horse would have won the Triple Crown, again, he lost by just the littlest bit, I would have won 20 grand. Yeah, that was a heartbreaker. That was a heartbreaker to lose. Big Brown, I think, was the name of the horse. And he lost the same thing at the Belmont. He didn't have a longer race, didn't have that little bit left. But today, I think he could have held that horse back just a little bit. Again, his pace put pressure on everybody, but when the other horse made a move on him, he ain't had it to hold him off. And that's the other guy who won it saw that too. He was like, oh yeah, let my horse. And he didn't even hit his horse. Once he let that horse took off, that horse ran them down. It ran two horses down. But it's just beautifulness. But they had a special today, and they did a recreation of what's it called? Oh, all the jockeys participated in a recreation of the Follow the Yellow Brick Road people. They had the Lollipop Kids. We are the Lollipop. They had a couple of jockeys doing that. So I don't know if that was something new. It was entertaining though. They did it. They were on point doing their thing of We Are the Lollipop Kids. Remember that one? We are the Lollipop Kids. These jockeys did it, and I was kind of amused. So I don't know if you guys saw that. It was on NBC. So it's hard for a horse to win the Triple Crown. Oh, absolutely. And among all the latest controversies and the extra testing, which could have thrown the horse off too, because the horse was going to get tested more. Don't know for sure if that would really throw the horse off, but I don't know. I think he could have held that horse off. I think he could have held him back. But, I mean, the horse that got it paid pretty well. And it still showed. So you could have made a little money, but not if it had won. And they didn't let the head trainer, he didn't want to answer all the questions, so he didn't show up. So interesting. And then watched hockey. Washington won in overtime. Forget who they beat. Twins are just horrible this year. Twins are getting beat up. They did win, though. I quit watching them, and they end up winning because it was like 7-2 or 7-3. So the Twins came back and won. Timberwolves lost, which is a very common theme most days. Timberwolves lost again. And it became, again, Glenn Taylor is going to still operate for the next 2 years, but they are going to be smaller partners these next 2 years. So the ball is rolling, helping A-Rod and them. Means they want to work with them, and they're going to let them get their bread together. In the next 2 years, apparently they get their bread together, which it keeps it here for another 2 years. Probably locks them into a lease, which they would have to pay off still. If they try to leave, hard to say. But teams have made money here. I mean, they support the WNBA team, and they support the Wolves. I mean, before this hit, the Wolves games, can't say they were always sold out, but when the good teams came, but if they had a good team all the time, they would. I mean, if they played well, people would support them, but they just haven't played well. So I could understand if they wanted to leave. That would make sense. I have some friends. Oh my goodness. We were in our 40s, and these guys, I watched The Wizard of Oz with them, and they had me dying. We was watching a little bit. He was sitting on the porch. It was like summertime. And I was just over there to see what was happening, just fucking around. And they are watching that shit, just crying, laughing like they had never watched it before. They hitting each other like, watch this motherfucker, man. Watch this motherfucker. What he about to do, man? And I'm just looking at them. And they are just dying laughing that shit. Like they never even watched it before. So it was kind of funny. It made me laugh because they was having so much fun. They was loving the shit. It's like, watch the witch, man. The house, watch the witch. Watch when they find the witch and shit. You know, and the witch got hit by the house and shit. You know, remember when they showed Dorothy that she hit the witch and shit? There's like, Dorothy's like, what do you mean my house hit the witch? I wasn't staring, I wasn't staring the motherfucker. The wind had me. It's like, well, you must have dropped your house on her because there she goes. And Dorothy looks over and says, my bad. She's like, my bad. And then the good witch takes the slippers and gives them to Dorothy. But she just looked over like, oh, my bad. Remember when they took the shoes off the witch, the shit rolled up into the house. Why did her legs roll up into the house when they took the shoes off? I mean, hey, you get hit by a house, a flying house. I mean, you pretty broke up. So I don't know what was the legs rolling up under the house meant, because you just pretty much flattened. But all you witches out there, remember, if a house falls on you, you ain't gonna make it. You ain't gonna make it. So mess with me. All you witches out there that don't like me, y'all keep messing with me, and I'm gonna get one of them houses like Dorothy had. They already contacted me, asked me if I wanted one. I can afford a flying house, so keep messing with me. Y'all keep messing with me. Because I'm not gonna have it anymore. I got a secret weapon. One day you be out there, in the woods, getting you some mushrooms or some shit, and all of a sudden the house hits you out in the middle of the woods. It would be for me from fucking with me. So take heed. I got a weapon, secret weapon, and I am a windstorm element. So do not bother me, guys. When you high, you critique movies differently. Don't stand in the rain either. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you're supposed to get out the rain too. Wicked Witch of the West used to scare me when I was a child. That is funny. That is funny. But I've never, when I think of that movie, I think about them. That shit was so funny watching them. Like, they were just going off. So just enjoying the shit. That's why I used to love the motherfucking Roadrunner. I didn't really care for the coyote. I was like, you's a dumb motherfucker. Quit chasing him. It's other roadrunners. It's obviously you're never going to catch him. But the point of the roadrunner was, no matter what you do, you can't get caught. And if they do catch you, you can defy nature. You can defy gravity. There's one time he had that motherfucker. He had him and shit. But it just happened to be they wasn't standing on nothing. So, the roadrunner had a little of that flash in him, So even though the coyote had him by the neck, Roadrunner could run fast and get away. Coyote couldn't do nothing but sink. So the Roadrunner, okay, he didn't even choke or nothing. The Roadrunner just looked down. Before the coyote was just, I got you, motherfucker. And then Roadrunner looked down, and then the coyote made the mistake of looking down. He should have held on. But he lets go, and then he falls, and the Roadrunner takes off and takes off. But it teaches you, no matter what they do, they can't catch you. That's the point of the Roadrunner. Oh, I'm just having fun tonight. That's all. And I'm stuffed up, so I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to go, because I am stuffed up. And I can't be handsome hearing me snorting and snuffing and going on. Oh, but I have fun. And it's not all just about spirituality, crystals. I mean, it's all about relating to people and being relatable. That's what it's about, showing your humanism. Because some people like to keep up the facade. And I'm probably the brokest person that content creator on YouTube. I probably am. Match me up to somebody, I'm probably the brokest. And that's okay too. This is kind of therapy, I'll say, for memory and stuff. Speaking, having to think about how you're putting in words, it's kind of therapy in a way. I know Sly would always say that. But for just memory, it helps to talk like this and being able to bring things up. I don't usually go from a script. I have a couple things scripted, but mostly I forget to bring my paper up there, so I have nothing to write on. So most of the time, like the subject is, there is no subject. I mean, sometimes there is certain points I want to get across, but most of the time there's no subject. I kind of go with the flow of the energy. Good laughter to my day of arriving on this earth. Well, happy birthday, Lorenzo. Everybody give him love. We gave him love last night. Let's give him love today. Definitely happy birthday. Mine is, I'll be 60. Man, on the 30th of June, I'll be 60. I'm getting the old man flabby arm. Maybe wrong arm. Yeah, I've got to start lifting something. That used to be all muscle. That used to be chiseled. Like, it used to be a big muscle down there. See, it's not really muscle any side now, but that used to be like, like big muscles there. You see pictures of me when I'm young. It's like, I remember I had a picture of me and I'm in a, like fishnet pantyhose where they had shirts, fishnet shirts. It was just a shirt and a fishnet, pretty much more comfortable than fishnet. But to give you the general idea, and I just remember how I had the six pack. We had been doing them Roman sit-ups. And, Roman sit-up is you sitting up and you've got a thing around your feet that brace you and you just go back. There's nothing. And then you put a 40-foot. First, we started with 25-pound weights. And then we started with 45-pound weights, going back and straight up. And you're talking about, boop, 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 boop. And it is a lot of hip flexor work. I'll agree. That is a lot of hip flexor work. But it will build all this too. Because the farther you can go back and the farther you come up, that's a heck of a workout. That is a heck of a workout. Ninja Cool. That is kind of all you giving him the love. That's what we do. That's what we do on here. And so, but you're still a young man. But many more. Enjoy your day. That's what, when I tell people on Facebook, that's what I put. Enjoy your day. Because you don't want to be happy because you have to take the energy of sad. You want enjoyment, something that really doesn't have the opposite kind of thing, where you don't have to take one or the other. So I am going to take a 5-minute break no, it won't be 5. It'll be about a minute just to blow my nose. So please give me a couple minutes and I'll go on a little further. Plus, it'd be nice to stretch my legs. So the music starts now. Do 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 do. Oh. Oh. All right, let's see if that helps. I just took another pill. I haven't taken a pill since noon, so I just took another pill. Yeah, I told y'all, has to arrive. Let the party begin. This is my day of reflection for 38 years, but this is going to be my first without you. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that does change the reflection, because for all the 38, 37 other ones, he was here. So that definitely does change that. Hey, Jason, Javon, sorry. Just remember, it's not number of years. It's years young. That is right. Years young is right. But Javon, thank you for joining us too. I think I already said what's happening to Ninja Cool. I think it's some early hoop games on tomorrow. Wild Play Vegas. It's for my hockey fans. It is tournament time for hockey. So I know Minnesota, the Wild play Vegas. They play the Vegas Knights. So who did Washington beat? Boston. Washington beat Boston in overtime 3-2. This is actually a pretty good game. And then I watched professional rugby in California. You know, rugby field is wider. And so they was letting, I mean, it's almost like 10 yards wider. So they was playing, which would be out of bounds on the American field. And rugby, a lot of it comes from there's two games that turned into American football: rugby, and then there was a game called, I think it was called Rounders or the Wall game, and that game was very similar to what football. But we know, you know, football was practiced. Lacrosse. I mean, it's a lot of different ways they participated in the game. So football has been played in America for a long time. Like I said before, the South American brothers dominating baseball. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's where baseball was created, down in South America. So I'm fine with it. They should dominate it. It's the perfect weather down there. It's like the young brothers that live out west, and they can have play, you know, baseball all year. It's a benefit. It's that helps. And down there, they have schools, academies, where, you know, yeah, they're doing a little bit of schooling, but mostly they are training to be professional baseball players, and that is an advantage. It's even an advantage over to compared to, you know, having wealthy families that can afford the all-year training and the all-year team traveling teams. It's an advantage. That they have to living into the academies. It is an advantage. December and end in July. I think the season needs to start in December and end in July. Which season? For which sport? Which season and which sport? That's what I was hoping wouldn't happen. Start in December and end in July. I always thought the school year should be the start of the year, but we basically start on the last business quarter or something like that when you start school. But I always thought school should have been that's how the year should have been. Oh, and then a couple of weeks we are having the day at a time. May 26th. Yeah, May 26th. So I'll do a little bit of celebration for that too. It'll be the day at a time. We have actually two calendars coming up. I think the other one would be July 26th. But yeah, one of the calendars is coming to an end in a couple weeks. I know what Jose Aguirre's teaches. They have their own calendar. Oh, maybe I didn't download that this year. Have to look for that. Maybe I do. I didn't think about that. Let me see if I still have that calendar. I don't think I do. I don't think I do. I had to, when I had to erase stuff, I erased it. That's right. I got to re-download that. I forgot about that. I did forget about that. Oh, NBA and NHL. Well, they start in October normally. They start in October. So does hockey. They both start generally in October. And football starts technically in July. They're about to go to camp. Well, the rookies just went to camp, and then they'll have the mini camp, and then in July they go camp. And here I think they go to Mankato State. I think they go to Mankato State. I forget. Japan does year-round school. So does Europe. School schedules will start after the harvest and before planting. Yeah, that's a good point. Yep. Well, that's why, you know, a lot of people complain about having daylight savings, but daylight savings is a farmer thing. You know, that's strictly for farmers, so they can have longer days to farm. You know, longer days in the summertime to farm and harvest, and even in the spring to farm and harvest for a little longer. So, yep. because that was the problem with a lot of schools. When it was planting time, it was harvesting time, the schools was empty. So yeah, you can hear those stories. But Europe too, and again, Japan. Everybody should know by now. In Japan, when you're in Europe, in some cases, when you're in eighth grade, it determines your future, because they don't really have equivalent to college or high school. They either go to university. If they don't score high enough, they the regular workers. They go to that kind of school. But if you score high enough, that's why it's such competition, because again, you don't want to be the servers, because that's what you become. You become the servers. That's why it's so much stress on them. And it's in eighth grade. But yeah, they go year round. I know in North Carolina, my ex-wife's had some nieces and nephews that they did that experiment on. One Divineness, I think she mentioned that her children, and she lives quite west of me. And I believe she told me at one time that her children were on a year-round basic schedule. They didn't get the summer off. So they have practiced this around different parts of America too. But I think in North Carolina, it didn't really raise the test scores. So they stopped it after a certain amount of years. Servants and masters in Europe. There you go. But Japan is the same way. It's the same way. I think tech is thrown in there now. So a little bit of tech, because you might have a person that didn't score that high, but he understands tech. So they might have adjusted that a little bit. Because like my son, tech-wise, it's hard for him to not understand. I mean, he can hack and all that shit. So that's what he uses the computer for, mostly so he can hack during the games. He can lock people out and shit, doing all kind of crazy shit. So crazy and wild shit. Yeah, but Lorenzo, this is one thing I think that is you got to look at history though. Part of what happened in history, Lorenzo. So in 1847 is when they defeated Mexico and took Texas and was given California, which was originally Mexico. So there was no Europeans out there. There was more haciendas, plantations out there ran by, they had already had they defeated the French. Yeah, I think they defeated the French out of Mexico already. So they were still, a lot of Latin kind of out there, still running from being Spanish Latins, more than likely, still running some of these big plantations in California, but they were all defeated. So all that land was ceded to the United States, and there was no one out there. So I've talked about this many nights. So what's better than lying and saying there's gold? It went from less than 10,000 to over hundreds of thousands because of the report of gold. But look at the stories on how many people actually got rich. Again, the people that got rich was the people that didn't really do a lot of work. Levi's. We know a lot of the Jewish faith people followed that trail too, supplying the picks, supplying the shovels, supplying the dynamite, supplying the tents. You see, they're not breaking their back, but they're following the supplies, following the thing and having supplies. Again, Levi jeans, Levi, come on. Even though they're the best jeans, in my opinion, there's no finer jean than a Levi jean. When I'm 70, I'm still going to be wearing Levi's. When I'm 80, I'm still going to be wearing Levi's or sweatpants, one or the other. I think sweatpants might be more comfortable when I'm in my 80s, but we'll see. Tell you what, though, if they ever put me in one of these retirement communities with old people, I want to be one like the one Bernie Mac was in Soul Man, I think it was called. With Bernie Mac and Samuel Jackson, and Bernie Mac had the ex-porno star living next door, Vanessa Del Rio. I want to know where that community is, where I can have a neighbor that was a porn star in her heyday. in one of these communities. I think that would be kind of cool. Levi Stadium, there you go, San Francisco. 40 acres and a mule to settle you, and you could make $1 million and have all the land you want if you find enough gold. Didn't tell them you can't take it to the grave. Well, didn't tell them it wasn't that much gold out there either. That was exaggerated. And a lot of that was to take the land to the Black Hills too, because they also said gold was in the Black Hills. And what did they say about the treaty in the Black Hills? Long as the rivers ran is how long the treaties was going to be. Isn't that what they said? Long as the river's running, these treaties are going to exist. And what do we have? As soon as they found gold, they was like, fuck you. And then we know why they built the Mason Heads. We know why they built the Mason Heads, because that area is also tied to Lemuria. And I've said before, that area is also tied to having the Stargate in it before. So, well, I am snuffing and snorting too much. I'm starting to gross myself out. And so thank you, everyone, for joining me tonight. I appreciate it. I'm almost still 2 hours. So, but I'll be back tomorrow night. Again, this is my 4th night in a row. I try to come out here and give a little something different every day. That kind of community would be ideal. There you go. Hence, they made the dams to stop the rivers flowing. That's true. That's true. So, but thank you guys. I am just snuffling and snorting. And so thank you for joining me. This is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host, 8Wind. And I always end with Esham's poem. So I'm not a New York rapper or LA gang banger. I'm just an old school Detroit crack slinger. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Thank you, everybody. Till we meet again.